Today we are taking a look at Logitech's Z623, their top-of-the-line 2.1 stereo speaker set. To get the ball rolling, let's start with the unboxing. Its experience is, as we're used to with Logitech, a quality one with lots of plastic wrapping and tape, but once we get that out of the box, we are greeted with two matte and glossy black speakers and one subwoofer. Moving onwards to the specs, the subwoofer weighs in at around 7 kilos, while the satellite speakers are about 1 kilo each. And that was quite a game changer for us, because we wanted to use these speakers at events, so move them from one venue to the other. The total power of the unit is 200 watts RMS and 400 watts of rated power, but the latter number is just power usage, not the actual power of the units or the drivers inside of speakers themselves. Speaking of those, both of the satellites have 35 watt drivers, while the subwoofer generates 130 watts. The rated power should give us an approximation regarding the loudness of the Z623, but I can hardly describe how very loud they are. If you put them to their max setting, you definitely will get noise complaints from your neighbors, especially in apartment housing. The bass is incredibly strong and punchy, and if you don't really dial it down, it's overpowering and muddy. With some tweaks to the EQ, that was for the most part solved. They are not monitoring speakers for cinema use, neither are they meant for home theater setups, even though they have the THX certification. The certificate itself is only the multimedia product line and isn't as demanding as their Ultra 2 or Select 2 certifications that are actually for high-end setups, not this THX that is branded onto Logitech speakers for gaming and desktop or PC. The brand is there, but it's just not the same. So regarding the reproduction, it isn't anything to write home about. It will satisfy most of your multimedia use. You will enjoy them when watching movies, as well as they will be punchy enough for games and anything else you might throw at them. But they won't shine, and that is not to be expected from normal speakers that you can buy at Best Buy. If you want high quality speakers, then you have to go for bookshelf speakers and amplifiers and so on and so on. The design aesthetic is classic to the Logitech product line that are also joined by these decorative screws that really make or break the appearance of the product. Of course, your perception will vary, but they aren't as wife-friendly as other products on the market, such as Altec Lansing's, quite fine up until now, but now to get to the part that really bugs us. The Logitech Z623 have been on the market since, 2012 I think, and since then they had ample time and opportunity to gather feedback from the community, from the consumers, to maybe improve on the product. But no, all they did when they rebranded the product from a year ago, all they did was change the logo. They didn't change the fact that you can only connect to the speakers via an RCA or a 3.5mm jack. No USB, much less an optical connection. Given the price of the speakers, that sits around 150 euros MSRP, you would think that consumers will link them with their existing high-end gaming setup that usually tend to have optical outs, and they would be perfect to connect to the speaker set on review today. But Logitech went the cheap route and just included the standard 3.5mm jack. Of course, it's a standard and everyone uses it, but it's an inferior standard. Okay, enough of my rambling about the 3.5mm jacks. The only thing that bothers me slightly, aside from the aforementioned, is the thickness of the connecting cable. The main satellite that includes the quality, volume, power and bass knobs, as well as audio pass-through, is really thick, and I don't mean that in a good way, as it looks quite terrible when positioned on the desk. It's very heavy, doesn't really subdue to our efforts to hide it and manipulate it, as well as looks quite not in sync with the other satellite that has a cable that is hair thin in comparison. Also, in the event that we had a larger setup or a larger desk, it would be a tiny bit too short, especially given that we have to plug it into the subwoofer itself. Well, to recap, the Logitech Z623 is a 2.1 speaker set with a heavy but punchy subwoofer that delivers decent enough sound for multimedia use and will make you happy if you're not too critical of it. But if you're set on this model, I would truly suggest you look on Craigslist or eBay and buy a used model, as it hasn't changed in quite some time now. As always, thanks for watching this review on Discharge Networks. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Please do subscribe.